Girl, stop. Carry on. Pretty on fleek. Pretty on fleek.
Hi guys! So, as you guys all know, I have decided that I'm going to be posting my YouTube videos on Saturday because, I don't know, I think it's just a better day than Wednesday in the middle of the week. And I feel like I would get more views on a weekend than I would in a weekday. So, getting on to the video, I've decided that today's video will be a story time. And this story is going to be the time my bus driver tried to fight me and my family. Or my family and I. This incident happened about 3 months ago, and it was actually a really interesting incident because, like, it just happened out of nowhere. And it's like one of those stories in my school that people always want to hear it all over and over again. So I'm going to take this time to tell you what happened that day. So, it was a Friday. I think it was a Friday. I'm not sure, but I'm just going to say it was a Friday. That me, my sister Khalees, my cousin Sinai, and my sister Yasmin were like about the last people to get off the bus. So there was like 3 other stops like after us. So I kind of really don't know what my bus driver's name is still, and it's been like, I don't know, like 9 months. I don't know. So I'm just gonna call her Peggy. So Peggy was driving up the hill, and you know, I'm gonna be that person that I can't put my book bag on when I'm sitting in the seat, so I had to stand up and I put my book bag on my back. And everyone else is doing it too. So my cousin, my twin sister, my sister were doing it. So Peggy was like, she stopped the bus, and Peggy was like,
sit down, the bus did not stop yet.
I was like, okay, chill, I was just putting my book bag on. She was like,
sit down.
So we were still driving up the hill, and she was getting ready to stop, and I stood up, and everyone else stood up. She was like,
sit down, the bus did not stop yet.
And I was like, can you please just open the door and let us off because my stop is right there. And she was like,
I'm not letting you off because this is like the 3rd time I had to tell you to sit down.
I'm like, this is not the 3rd time you had to tell us to sit down. This is like the 2nd, so check your facts. So it got to the point that we were still sitting at our bus stop, and there were still kids on the bus witnessing this whole incident, I guess. So we were like, can you please just let us off the bus? We don't want to really make this a big commotion because you're getting, like, mad and tight over, like, a small situation about standing up on the bus. And she was like,
I'm not going to let you off the bus because I told you not to stand up. And you know that.
So, my cousins and I called her mom, and she was like,
Mom, can you please come outside to the driveway because the bus driver won't let us off the bus.
The bus driver heard Sinai call her mom, so she turned the ignition on and just pulled off without letting us go. I was like, what are you doing? And she didn't answer me. So Sinai was like,
my mom's on speaker, you want to talk to her?
So I put her on speaker, and her mom was getting all mad and some type because she just pulled off without telling her or them or us where we were going. So she was like,
you need to pull off out of the driveway without we know where they're going because you can be pulled.
Anyways, rudely interrupted.
You can be pulled off and going somewhere and I wouldn't even know it.
And she was like,
I told them to sit down and they wouldn't listen, so I pulled off.
And she was like,
where are you taking them, to school?
And she never answered. So we drove up to the driveway. We went, since I live in a circle, we drove all the way back up the hill, driving up the hill, and we got to the bus stop. She was like,
first of all, I don't have to have my child call me to tell me that you would have left them off on their stop because they weren't sitting down. And second of all, why would you pull off if you wouldn't even tell me where they were going?
And Peggy was like,
well, I told them to sit down nicely, and they didn't sit down.
And I was like, you did not tell us to sit down nicely. You said it in, like, a screaming tone, like you were on your period or some type. So at that point, my aunt stepped onto the bus, and she was like,
no parents are on the bus.
She's like,
I'm not on the bus, I'm on the first step, so let me get my side of the story.
And Peggy was being dumb rude. I'm sorry, that's my vocabulary. Peggy was being dumb rude because my aunt was still trying to talk and she was disrupting her. So she was like, okay. So we got off the bus and we went inside and she was still talking. And at that point, Peggy picked up her phone and called Susan. If you guys don't know who Susan is the bus monitor. So she was like,
Susan, there's an incident at the Henry household.
And then my aunt was mad funny. She was like,
yes, Susan, my name is so-and-so, so I did that, so-and-so, so.
I was like, oh, shoot. So we've been in the house, and then she pulled off. And we got in the house, and my aunt called the school and was telling them about what happened. And the next day, I'm surprised that we didn't get called to the office, because usually if there's an incident that happens, you'll get called to the office, but we didn't. So I'm just like, thank you, Lord. And by the time we got to school, that whole story was like everywhere. I was like, dang, how did all this get out there? So that is the end of my story time. If you like this video, like it. If you don't, I don't care about your opinion. Make sure you comment under my videos to tell me what I should do for my next video. I'm deciding on what I should do when I get 50 subscribers. I'm almost at 20, so I'm just trying to work my way up there. So comment some ideas that I should do when I hit 50. And make sure you subscribe to my channel at Originally Valon, or that's like the title I go by, but it's actually Valon Faith. And make sure you share my channel and my videos on any social media that you got. So Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you guys have. All right? Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.